which is such a nice message. Let's talk about the 100-meter race. Holy cow! Like when I tell you,
yeah, right.
The way you had us, unforgettable in that moment.
Oh, that was the goal.
It was so epic. When did you know that you
As soon as my name came up on the screen.
Okay.
No, I was along the ride with everybody else. As much confidence as I could say, oh yeah, I knew I won. Come on now. We all saw how close the race was. None of us knew who won,
9.79 seconds. That's how long it took a man from Virginia to become an Olympic champion by 5/1000ths of a second. 5/1000ths. That is the closest 100-meter final in Olympic history, and the man who won it grew up hooked to a nebulizer because as a child, he couldn't reliably breathe on his own. When Usain Bolt, the fastest human being who has ever lived, saw that race, he didn't send a congratulations. He posted a photo of himself from 2008, 2 words underneath it, 1 of 1. We will get to that, but first, you need to understand just how impossible this story actually is, because a 9.79 in the 100 meters doesn't just mean he won gold in Paris. It means he survived the closest, deepest sprint final in Olympic history against a generation faster than any that's ever lined up together. And he did it 2 days after testing positive for COVID-19. Think about what that actually means. And Noah Lyles did it without ever being the most naturally gifted sprinter in the building.
And everybody would be like, oh, Noah was great. He went down for the 100, but the 200 is my baby. And who knows if I'll make the next Olympic team. Tomorrow is not given.
Yeah.
I have a shot, and if I'm not supposed to make it to the finals, I'll get kicked out in the semis.
Yeah.
So the rules say I got to quarantine, let's go quarantine. The US doctor said we can get you the medication, Paxlovid, got me the medication.
Alexandria, Virginia. Not a sprint factory. Not a place that shows up on anybody's map of where world-class 100-meter runners come from. Just a quiet city outside Washington, D.C., where a little boy named Noah Lyles spent much of his early childhood in hospital rooms, hooked to a nebulizer, fighting asthma so severe it kept him homeschooled for years before he ever set foot in a public classroom. His parents had both run track at Seton Hall University, so speed was somewhere in the bloodline. But Lyles wasn't the obvious prodigy walking into that gene pool. He struggled badly in school. He was later diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD, which made sitting still in a classroom feel like its own kind of punishment. He was quiet. He was reserved. By his own account, he was bullied. The kid who would one day pose for cameras and talk trash on a global stage started out as the shy one who felt more comfortable on a trampoline in gymnastics class than raising his hand in front of other kids. Then, in the summer of 2012, a 12-year-old Noah sat down in front of a television with his younger brother Josephus and watched the London Olympics together. And the two of them made a promise right there. They were going to run at the games together. Not eventually, the next one. Rio 2016. That same year, Noah started training seriously at 12 years old, already years behind kids across the country who'd been groomed for this exact sport since elementary school. He enrolled at T.C. Williams High School in Alexandria, and he started climbing the rankings fast. By his sophomore year, he was setting national sophomore indoor records in the 200 meters. By his senior year, in 2016, he showed up to the U.S. Olympic trials and ran 20.09 seconds, breaking a national high school record that had stood untouched for 31 years. He finished fourth. Fourth place, one position outside the 3 that would fly to Rio. The games he and his brother had promised each other 4 years earlier, gone by a matter of hundredths. Josephus didn't make that team either. The promise the two of them made in front of a television in 2012 stayed unfulfilled, and both brothers walked away from Eugene that summer with nothing but a broken national record and a flight home. Most 18-year-olds who just missed the biggest stage in their sport by one spot go quiet for a year. Lyles didn't have that luxury. He'd already decided his next move before the trials were even finished. Here's what almost nobody remembers about that trial. Lyles wasn't without options. He had a scholarship offer sitting on the table from the University of Florida, a major NCAA sprint program. the exact path every blue-chip high school sprinter in America is groomed to take. Go there, develop under a college system, run in front of smaller crowds, codes for 4 years, get a degree as a fallback in case the speed doesn't hold up. The system's answer to an 18-year-old who had just missed an Olympic team by 1 spot was the same answer it gives almost everyone. Come here, sit in our program, prove it over 4 years like the last kid did, and the kid before him. Lyles turned it down. Instead, still a teenager, he signed directly with Adidas in 2016, reportedly one of the richest contracts a sprinter had seen since Usain Bolt himself. No college season to hide in, no 4 years of amateur meets to figure things out quietly. Just a kid from a city nobody associates with world-class sprinting, betting his entire athletic future on himself before he'd run a single professional race. The message from the traditional college pipeline was clear. Prove it in our system first, like everyone else does. Lyles skipped the line completely, which meant every race from that point forward would be judged against a paycheck and a headline, with no redshirt year to disappear into if it went wrong. That same year, at the World U20 Championships in Poland, he backed the decision up immediately. Gold in the 100 meters, gold anchoring the 4x100 relay. It was proof of concept on a junior stage. But junior stages don't pay contracts, and they don't silence a sport that had just watched him miss the senior Olympic team by 1 spot months earlier. And then comes the part of the story that almost nobody talks about. The part where turning pro early almost didn't work at all. Going pro at 18 sounds like a shortcut. It isn't. It means every result becomes public property immediately, measured against a contract, with no coach willing to say he's still developing to buy you time. In 2017, his first full year as a professional, injury wiped out almost the entire season. He didn't get a redshirt year. He didn't get a quiet fall semester to rebuild in. Rant of nobody. He got 1 race back, his last of the year. And in it, he beat the reigning world champion cold, with an entire missed season sitting behind him and a career that needed proof immediately in front of everyone watching. There was no fallback major to switch into if it hadn't worked. No campus job to fall back on, no dorm room to retreat to while he figured out his mechanics in private. The bet he made at 18, skip the safety net, go straight to professional sprinting, meant that his own financial future and his family's stability were tied directly to how fast he could run, starting immediately, with the whole track world watching a kid who hadn't even finished growing into his frame yet. That detail right there is the whole story. By 2018, healthy again, he answered every doubt at once. A lifetime best 9.88 in the 100 meters at the US Championships, and an undefeated season at 200 meters where he broke 19.703 separate times. That year, he was named the Jesse Owens Award winner, given annually to the single most outstanding track and field athlete in the country. A kid who couldn't stay healthy through his own rookie season had become, 12 months later, the best American in the sport. None of it came easy or clean after that either. Every step forward since has come with a rival standing directly in front of it. Christian Coleman chasing him down at the line in Shanghai. Kenny Bednarik trading blows with him in national championship finals so heated they've ended in shoves at the finish line. Ariane Knighton pushing him in Budapest. There has never been a season where Lyles simply showed up and collected the win. Every title has had to be taken from somebody standing right next to him. Drop it in the comments right now. Does Noah Lyles ever break Usain Bolt's 200-meter world record before he retires? Yes or no? I need to know. 19.31 seconds. 19.31. That's Lyles' personal best in the 200 meters, run in Eugene, Oregon at the 2022 U.S. National Championships. Now, here's what that number actually replaced. Michael Johnson's American record, a mark that had stood since 1996. 26 years. A generation of sprinters had tried and failed to touch it. Lyles didn't just edge past it, he broke it outright on a night that instantly became the best 200-meter season any human being had ever produced, going undefeated over the full year, 19.31. Now, put that number against the only benchmark that actually matters, the greatest sprinter who has ever lived. Usain Bolt's 200-meter world record sits at 19.19 seconds, set in Berlin in 2009 and untouched for over a decade and a half. Lyles' 19.31 makes him the third fastest human being to ever run the distance, trailing only Bolt himself and Jamaica's Johan Blake. If you dropped that performance into Bolt's own world record race, Lyles crosses the line barely more than a tenth of a second behind the single greatest sprint performance in the sport's history. Let that land. Not third among Americans, not third among active sprinters racing right now, third among every human being who has ever run 200 meters on this planet. And it wasn't a one-time outlier. He backed it up in 2019 with his first world title in the event in Doha, then again in Eugene in 2022, then again in Budapest in 2023, then again in Tokyo in 2025. 4 world championships at 200 meters, tying Bolt's own record for the most world titles anyone has ever won at that specific distance. Even the gap that's left isn't about acceleration anymore, it's top-end speed. Tracking data has clocked Lyles at roughly 22.76 miles per hour at full flight in the 100 meters. Bolt, in his 9.58-second world record, topped out at 27.33 miles per hour. That's the entire remaining distance between the third fastest 200-meter runner in history and the fastest man who's ever lived. Not raw speed out of the blocks, but the final gear at the very top end of a sprint. In 2023, at the World Championships in Budapest, Lyles won the 100 meters, the 200 meters, and the 4x100 relay in the same championship. That's called the Sprint Treble. Exactly one other man in the history of the sport has ever pulled it off, Usain Bolt, in Beijing in 2015. That is not a small fact. That is a historic fact. It means the record book for that specific achievement now lists exactly 2 names. The man widely considered the greatest sprinter who has ever lived, and a kid from Alexandria, Virginia, who once needed a scholarship offer from Florida as his backup plan. And it came after real setbacks along the way. At the Tokyo Olympics in 2021, Lyles was the favorite to win 200-meter gold and finished third instead, a result that, by his own public admission, sent him into a period of clinical depression severe enough that he was prescribed medication to manage it. He talked about it openly, on the record, becoming one of the sport's loudest voices on mental health at a time when most elite athletes still treated it as something to hide. The sprint treble in Budapest 2 years later didn't happen in spite of that low point being erased from the story. It happened with that low point still very much part of the record. Add it up, and here's where the ledger actually sits. 8 world titles across every event he's contested, an Olympic gold and 2 Olympic bronzes, the American 200-meter record, a sprint treble matched by exactly 1 man in history, and a career that started with a 4th-place finish that kept him off a plane to Rio. Here's where Bolt comes back into this story. After Lyles won that photo finish 100-meter gold in Paris, the tightest final in Olympic history, Bolt didn't offer public congratulations. He posted an old photo of his own Beijing double gold from 2008, captioned simply, "1 of 1." Months later, asked directly why today's sprinters can't get close to his old times, Bolt didn't soften it. "We're just more talented." Lyles' response to all of it wasn't a press conference. It wasn't a comeback quote aimed at Bolt. He kept a stack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards in his bag at championship meets between rounds. He records rap music under the name NoJo18 in whatever studio hours he can find between training blocks. He co-founded a non-profit with his brother Josephus, the same brother he promised back in 2012 that they'd make an Olympics together to fund athletic opportunities for kids who look like the two of them once did. And after becoming an Olympic champion, when a podcast host asked him point blank who the real fastest man alive is, Lyles didn't claim the title for himself. He said flatly, "It's still Bolt." Not a rebuttal, not a list of people he's proven wrong, just a kid who still watches anime, still carries cards in his bag, still funds foundations with his brother, and still tells the truth about who's faster than him, while quietly closing the gap on that man's records 1 season at a time. Los Angeles 2028 is 2 years away. Noah Lyles will be 30 years old, walking into the one Olympic Games of his career held on American soil, in front of a home crowd, chasing a number that has belonged to exactly one other man alive for over 15 years. Does he finally close the gap on 19.19 in front of that home crowd? Or does Bolt's record survive one more Games? Drop it below. Subscribe for the next one, the story of the sprinter standing directly in his way in Los Angeles. The one man who's already beaten Lyles at his absolute best, and the one race that could decide whether one of one still applies when the Games come home.